99 games and a Protoss ain't one. 99 problems.
So here we are, spawning on Prion Terraces. In the bottom right, we have got our green Terran, Beastyqt.
And his opponent in the top left-hand corner. It is the Red Zerg player, representing Root Gaming, JimRising.
So this map has, been trouble for some players against Zerg. You can take 2 quick gold bases, be aggressive, and then still have a decent economy behind it. But that's not to say that Terran can also have a few tricks up their sleeve. I have frequently seen 3 Rax Reaper, and it does some damage. So I'm curious to see Beastyqt's choice of strategy on this map. We have seen him to be quite a macro player, but anything is possible.
Both players kind of have that nuance to their play of a macro, but both times, and pretty much all the games today, JimRising has proved he's a little bit better. I can't wait to see when the natural base is gold on Prion Terraces with the update on February 9th in 4 days. That's what DK is saying he's going to do. But Beastyqt, 3 Rax or 2 Rax Reaper, something Rax Reaper is coming out of him, and he said before this, he said, I don't want to deal with this. I don't like this long game. It's too tired. He's going to try to end it here.
Judging by these 3 Rax here, it's probably going to be 3 Rax Reaper. JimRising, though, when is he going to scout this? That's the real question. When is he going to realize that shenanigans are afoot? He may think that, hey, this is Prion Terraces, you can do stuff like that, but, does he know exactly? Is he ready to defend it when he scouts, that this is indeed the strategy?
Yes, what's in the shenanigans are afoot. I can't even do the accent, but I like that. Shenanigans are afoot. Never heard that. That's great.
We've got our second gas. So this is definitely going to be heavy Reaper.
Second gas is thrown in. Reaper comes across the map. The Overlords are not going to spot this as they move across. JimRising opens up pretty darn standard hatch gas pool, but no,
Roach Warren.
He feels something strange is going on, and he's going to be adequately protected.
Yeah, with these roaches, all he needs to do is buy time. That's not going to be too hard, as there's only 2 Reapers on the map at the moment. About to be 3 more, but he needs to still be careful with these Zerglings. Needs to keep them on the creep.
Roach Warren only a few seconds away, and that will be able to reinforce the Queen. Needs to survive. The injects are so important at this point in the game to be able to reinforce with roaches. The Reaper's doing some damage right here, and I really wonder. JimRising did not scout any of this at all. He has scouted it now, but I truly wonder with this if it was just, hey, you said you're tired, maybe I'll roach all in you. On a map like this, easily, if you lose a lot, you can still fall back onto a gold third and be able to kind of compensate for that early loss.
Yeah, that is a really good point. It wouldn't surprise me if that was his thought process. But now we've got 3 roaches coming out. We've got a Ravager being morphed as well. As long as JimRising can hold this right now, he should be in good shape. However, Reapers, they can still be pretty frustrating to deal with, so we'll see what happens.
They will be forced off. Nice Ravager. And also one thing note about the Ravagers, with that place between the high ground and the low ground to jump up the elevator for the Reapers in the back of the main base in Prion Terraces, Corrosive Biles can be useful to at least stop them or make them think a second thought if they want to jump up that or not and do a little bit of extra damage. But for now, JimRising, he's stabilized. He started making Overlords. He started droning well. Beastyqt is making a CC also, but I'm afraid for the counterattack. Mass Roach, Reapers, even if Mass Reaper doesn't do well. And believe me, I've tried in 2v2. Mass Reaper medevac drops doesn't work too well.
Yeah, once a lot of roaches get on the field, the Reapers are going to have a very hard time.
Reapers run on in with the... Roaches not quite in the ideal position. Ravagers are going to get blasted back, and the Ravagers could be susceptible to the KD8 charge Reapers because they have slightly less health. But for now, the Reapers dancing back and forth. 1 roach at a time coming out for JimRising, which is good. But he needs another gas desperately. His second gas and his natural is not being mined at all.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a little bit of panic going on and a little bit of micro, when it comes to dealing with these Reapers, that he kind of forgot about that gas. So there it goes, though. Drones have been put into gas. The Ravagers, they're moving out to defend the third that has just gone down. Reapers, there's quite a few of them out. Look like they could cause some trouble, but, you know, we still got 4 more roaches on the way.
There is a 9 Reapers out, as you were mentioning, and those will be able to push and prod at JimRising, but they're not going to be able to kill that much. But in the situation, the entire Roach army is at the third. The Reapers, funnily enough, may be able to kill this hatch. Very close to killing that hatch, but now the Reapers can jump up into the main, and the Roaches Ravagers are not going to be in the right position, at least on Prion Terraces. Maybe a little bit like Ruins of Ceres. You can jump down from the third to the natural to the main and pressure both sides while not allowing the Zerg player to be able to be quick enough to reinforce one base or the other.
It looks like we did have a little bit of nice splitting here from JimRising. He's got his army kind of split up between the main and the third to make sure nothing really horrible happens if he is out of place.
A nice Corrosive Vial, like I was saying, beautiful one, will deter the Reapers. They have to fall back. What is Beastyqt really falling back on? Because he's got some bio.
He's got a starport coming out. You know, he's got a factory with a reactor being made, but nothing too scary at the moment.
Trying to execute something, he's going to still put the pressure on. I like that he's still microing them, trying to put a little bit of pressure on JimRising. You can always, even if you don't do damage, at least force them to overmake roaches, overmake something. Lair is on the way, though, and this is one of the maps where we've seen JimRising before. He loves this macro style, and on Prion Terraces with the gold base, he doesn't need to take a fourth for a while. A Lair is on the way, and he may very well just go into Spire and start to dominate this game. He's got a very strong defense. He's airtight, but we're going to see Beastyqt try to break it with one last push.
However, JimRising saw this pretty early on move out. Beastyqt did manage to take down an Overlord, but that Overlord saw this push was coming, and now we've got more roaches and more lings on the way. Still, JimRising needs to be careful here. Got a nice attack on the leg.
Lots of KD8 charges disperse the roaches. Roaches still with a beautiful concave, though, combined with Corrosive Vials.
Yeah, and with our Zerg player's economy now, as long as he can hold this, he should do pretty well. Very, very nice dodging, though, also from Beastyqt. He's now got Medivac, which will make this a little bit easier.
Just a note, I do really love the Reaper KD8 charge with bio. It's something I'd love to see more players kind of experiment with. Just a little bit of AoE, but it can go drastically out of hand easily if you're not careful with the KD8 charges. JimRising, afraid of the drop, moves up into the main perfectly, will be able to maybe defend, but we'll see this is multi-pronged in. Not too many Corrosive Vials. Looks like because of the Queen, the Medivacs are forced to reposition, but at the same time, the third is under fire.
Yeah, quite a few units went down there at the third. Didn't have as many units as our Zerg player may have hoped for, but it's still defended, it's still alive.
Stim into the third base. The Roaches are still out of position, and right now Beastyqt is just trying to pull JimRising out of position. He knows he can't take an economic up in this game. Even if he tries to, he knows he'd be punished, so he's keeping the pressure on. Back at home, double Liberators coming out, which will reinforce his position, providing him a nice place to fall back onto if he needs to, instead of just speed boosting up into the main and down into the third. And JimRising's doing well, but you gotta remember, he went Lair earlier on. Generally, he likes to go for Spire, but Beastyqt's not allowed him enough time to do that, and that's really the damage control. That's where it starts to factor in, Koshkii.
Yeah, and that is going to be a pretty big deal. There are 2 Liberators coming out now, so JimRising's going to find a way to deal with those as well.
Roaches have to fall back because of the Widow Mines. Oh, big Widow Mine hits.
Yeah, this third now might be in danger. A lot of units fell here. Looks like the Marines starting to focus on some of the mining that's going on. JimRising bringing back some of his roaches to just try and hold this, but this is looking pretty scary now for JimRising. The army supply is now 71 to 40 in favor of Beastyqt. He's really turned this around for him.
JimRising had a huge economic lead for the majority of the game, but he's been able to push right, push left, a little bit like Blinkstalkers on Ruins of Ceres against Zerg against JimRising. Beastyqt's managing to claw himself back in this game. GG! Beastyqt takes game 2. Evens it up 1-1, and wasn't going to say it during that game, but he was saying if he lost that, he was just going to leave in the lobby before this happened. So very well played, and I liked what JimRising was doing, but he was never able to get up to that meta count he wanted to, so all the roaches could hang out at the third, and then the metas in the main could defend. He never got the Spire down, and that is the composition he loves to go. Beastyqt did not let him do that. Beautiful game. GG, well played.
Looks like our next game is on Ruins of Ceres. While we are loading into our next game, I just want to give another reminder that first place for this rival weekly is $40, as this is our final rival weekly. So $40 to first place and 1,000 RSL points. These will be used for seeding in the rival StarCraft League that is actually starting next week. Second place gets $10 and 600 RSL points. Third and fourth get 400 RSL points. So it's still a pretty big deal.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is a best of 5, so there's still a lot of games coming up. It is 1-1 between our Zerg heroine JimRising and his opponent Beastyqt. Both players have fought tooth and nail through the bracket. And as Koshkii just said, the winner not only wins money, but what?
I was going to say I made another mistake. The next map is Laralat Crest.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Who cares? We got all the maps in the world right here for the RSL. Guys, shout out. I guess not technically shout out, but props to Koshkii for the casting. She's doing a wonderful job, and thank you also to Hawkeye, our production. But good job, Koshkii. You've been doing well. And how you feeling, Laralat Crest? It's 1-1. You said 3-2.
I did. We'll see. Here we are loading onto Laralat Crest. This can be a dangerous map sometimes, especially if you are spawned close to each other and your opponent decides to be a little bit aggressive, but anything goes. We know that JimRising really likes his macro play.
JimRising does like that. We've seen a couple scrappy ZVTs today.